Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer California, Los Angeles to be pseudo-specific. My name is BrianEngelman, and today is Friday, September 19th, 2025, and you have locked in here on the TNAM Daily Show, brought to you by the New American Media. Also, look back to that corner of the screen. The podcast, it's all under the TNAM. Whoop, where'd it go? There we go. It's all under the Agree to Disagree Show. Subscribe to the podcast, the Agree to Disagree Show. I sort of morphed the Agree to Disagree Show. Last season, if you think of each season as a year, I've been on air for 14 seasons. This is my 15th season. I think I'm doing that math right. Am I really live or am I AI? It could be both, Kenneth. Hello, everybody. Let me put up the commenters. These are the regulars. Here, let me take it down for a second. Welcome to my bar. I'm a sports fan. I'm an Indians fan. It's a great team, and it's a great name, and it's a great story to honor Louis Sock-Alexis, and we were made fun of. Oh, the Cleveland? Pfft, you mean the Cleveland Indians? Because they got that Indian fella playing on the team? Oh, they got two of them? Oh, okay, the Indians. Hey, let's change our names to the Indians. You had the Braves and the Redskins and all sorts of the Blackhawks and all sorts of team names. We got wrapped up in what was called cancel culture. It got wrapped up into something that tried to turn any spice on the spice rack into something derogatory. Dude, Chief Wahoo and the Cleveland Indians, it's just awesome. It's one of the most iconic brands in all of sports. And it got wrapped up into this whole thing where we need to whitewash society. We need to take down. We need to stop having interesting stuff around. It all needs to be homogenized, generic. Anyway, this is, you can't see on my back, Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, one of the best in baseball. But you're here in my bar. Look around. Look at the backdrop. We're going to talk about all the stuff on the TVs. And we're all welcome. You're regulars. Here, let me put the regulars comments back up here. Trash Panda checking in. Hello, howdy. There we go. Jeez. Ground control to Major Panda. Typing comments every minute. All right. But like I did tell you, I'm allowing myself just a little bit of grace. We're going to meet in the middle on agreeing to be here when we open the doors for our restaurant at noon. Also, you know, I'm the cook, I'm the bartender, I'm the busboy, I'm the sous chef, I'm the guy doing all the things. So grant me some of that leeway, if you will. And I think most people deserve to be granted a little bit of leeway, whether you're Jimmy Kimmel or whether you're Charlie Kirk or whether you're Donald Trump or whether you're Kamala Harris. I got to work on my Kamala. You know, a little bit of grace, right? A little bit. But after a while, you kind of get a feel for where you're at. And if things keep pushing to a certain point, you gotta mix things up a little bit. You got to call things out for what they are. And we've reached a point in our country where we need to start calling things out. Things have been pushed around too far, too much bullying. The title of today's episode is, I'm still getting used to the Rumble screen. It used to be green and now it's American flag colored. You said colored. Quiet you. So we have Charlie Kirk question marks about this investigation. And is this guy a patsy? And who's the number one suspect? I'm sorry, who's the number two suspect outside of Israel? What is it, 6 or 8 different times Netanyahu has publicly made statements trying to really convince everybody that Israel had nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination? It's just at some point, and here, let me, before I get into the show, but let me ask, how many times has Bibi publicly done interviews saying they didn't kill Kirk. Because I saw 1 and I saw something else saying 6 or 8 times. Okay, there's 3. One, two, three. A video statement on X on September 18th. That was yesterday. One of them on the Faulkner Focus on September 13th on Fox News. Then another one on Newsmax with Greta Van Susteren, September 11 and 12. 11 and 12. So isn't that 4 then? Okay, so it's closer to 6 if it's 4. Half of it if it's 3. A third of it if it's 8. But you get the point. That's what everyone's saying. Everyone being not everyone, of course, but you can't look around for 2 minutes without hearing that's the main suspect, actually. And now Candace Owens, bless her, if she deserves it. People like her. She's ardent. I've never met her. I've had no interactions with her. She's fierce. She makes a lot of good points. I lost a friend over Candace Owens. It was like an acquaintance, someone my brother knew, a musician, and I don't know, in the course of something or some comment, it was like, "Do you support Candace Owens?" I'm like, "I don't know what that means." He's like, "Well, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, I think she's pretty good. Why?" He's like, "I knew it. I didn't like you from the beginning." I mean, like, this dude got vicious and angry. I'm like, I don't even know, like, what does that even mean? Well, I read a post somewhere. I saw a clip out of context that said this thing. You mean the thing that's the exact opposite of what she meant inside of that bigger quote? Like the fine people hoax, and I'm not talking about the Nazis or the white nationalists who should be condemned completely. There are a lot of fine people on both sides saying it's a statue, leave it alone, and others that said take it down. That's all he was saying. But that was still being lied about by Obama and Biden in this last election. So the cancel culture of Jimmy Kimmel. Is it consequence culture or is it cancel culture? Today's show is called Kirk ? Consequence culture isn't cancel culture, and repercussions versus bullying. There are repercussions if you violate FCC protocol. Have a national broadcast license, you agree to do certain things, and when you're blatantly lying about really tense, traumatic things that the nation's going through, there are provisions in the FCC license, as is my understanding, that mean there are penalties to pay. Which is why you got to kind of be careful making these wide, sweeping comments. And of course, if you talk long enough, you're going to be making all sorts of comments that you go, all right, that's out of context. That's not what okay, that came out a little differently than I intended. Let me clarify. Everybody's allowed that opportunity. And by the way, no, nothing you say makes you eligible for assassination. That's just stupid. As Nick said, all government is violence, which is why we're trying here to advocate for the least amount of government possible while keeping the wheels from falling off. You know, wherever we've gone that's so close to the edge, we're trying to pull it back, grab the steering wheel, and not go over the edge of the cliff. So it's a dicey game. But yeah. Welcome, everybody. We're going to talk about all the things. Yeah. Do you support Candace Owens? I'm like, she posts a lot of good stuff. Why? I knew it. I can't stand you and I can't stand her. And I'm like, okay. There's no human that can endorse every other human's opinions. That's not a thing. It's like they need to hate you. So they need to pin a question or frame you somehow, frame a situation somehow. Oh yeah, Charlie Kirk was taken out by one of his own. Yeah, because that's what we do to things that we love. Right. It was the Cleveland Indians fans that said, oh, there's something wrong with your team. No, it was the Cleveland Indians fans caught in the crosshairs going, no, we love our team. What are you talking about? Well, that caricature, it's a cartoon character. What are we talking about here? Bullying is what we're talking about. Canceling Roseanne was bullying. Well, she bullied that lady in the Obama administration. Don't you know that she and what? She wore strange outfits and she had a unique look. Roseanne made a joke and you killed her character off and stole her show away that she created. That's bullying. No, she was bullying the other person with her comedy. You're also allowed to bully. And if people find it objectionable, the shit that you're saying, the way that you're saying it, you know what? You don't have a license to harm that person. You can tell other people, hey, are you aware of what's going on here? You don't get to harm that person. But, Jimmy Kimmel said that if you don't take the jab, then you don't deserve to go to a hospital and you deserve to die. Does that sound like a good person, like a nice person? So when America sees that and stops watching and look at the numbers, America stopped watching Jimmy Kimmel. This is about ratings. They found him to be objectionable, unfunny. I made the accidental mistake of watching him in Austin a year or two ago, something like that. I don't watch TV much. And I sat down, it was a long day and it was on and I watched him like for 5-10 minutes. I'm like, it was angry, it was bitter, it was unfunny, anti-Trump stuff, and it just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, who in their right mind would want to watch this? This is unwatchable. And I got up and did something else and came back, sat down for a second for another couple minutes, and it was the same. And I went, no way this carried through from one segment to the next. There's no way they're still doing this. Then I went to another area and came back, same thing. I'm like, there's no universe where society can consume this stuff and not be brain damaged and activated to violent radical extremism. That's sort of the point. Obama weaponized our current political system. There's always been political violence. This isn't an invention of Barack Hussein Obama. I'm not saying that. But man, oh man, did he find a way to link up all of our educators and all of the lying legacy media and all of the Democrat politicians to throw it at you at once and make sure their big tech overlords wouldn't allow dissenting opinions. That's what this is about. This is all connected. And society collectively looked at Jimmy Kimmel and said, man, you haven't been funny in 15 years. What are you doing? And then he stepped in it. He had an unforced error. I think they call it that in tennis, an unforced error. If you have a double fault. You serve the ball and it doesn't make it over the net. You serve the ball again and it still doesn't make it over the net. Oh, we got a new commenter. We got Sam in the hizzy. Oh my gosh, my former roommate. I was thinking about our spot. We used to share a rehearsal spot in Los Angeles. Man, that was awesome. Yes, the hostess with the mostest. Thank you. All right. Comments. Hello, Marion, Kenneth, Trash Panda, everybody. I don't want to skip over anybody, but I'm half paying attention. I'm trying to read and then catch up here. Talk about what's on the TVs, or at this point, what's no longer on TV. Yep. Yeah, what's no longer on TV is Jimmy Kimmel, and he earned it. Sam says the broadcast networks know they have a captive audience of boomers. Oh, man. In the comments section, raise your hand if you've had to cut somebody out of your life who's a boomer, who consumes CNN and MSNBC unironically, or ABC unironically, or CBS unironically. Raise your hand. I mean, it's tearing families apart. A constant barrage of fear porn has ruined their ability to connect with the actual world. It's created a bunch of zombies, scary zombies, violent zombies. No, not everyone. You mean it's everyone? You're saying everyone? Okay, not everyone, but a lot of them. And the others that haven't been radicalized and weaponized, many of them are unbearable to be around. And they've turned it into their identity to be bitter and angry like Jimmy Kimmel. And no one wants to be around that energy. You're sending out an aura. You're sending out a force field. You're sending out vibes and energy. Kenneth is here all the time, right, Kenneth? Kenneth will give me a vibe check from time to time. By the way, cheers, everybody. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, however you're watching, and click to share the show and text it to like a couple of your smart friends and go, hey, the trash pandas dump the news all over the table. The news is the rubbish. The TNAM trash pandas. Oh, geez. Well, I had it locked in. Now I'm trying to think of it. The TNAM trash pandas. We dump the garbage on the table and separate fake news from fact. No, there's another part to it. We rifle. Oh, there it is. We rifle through the rubbish. That's what it is. All right, I got it now. Cheers, everyone. What are you sipping on? Are you having a majestic mint with 2 honeys? They just need to change that. Call it the Kirk. Just own it. Move on with it. It's going to be an ongoing thing. You keep seeing the videos. Can you put the name on it? I'm going to keep getting it. And it's going to keep triggering people. Just call it the Kirk. You're going to sell to a lot of conservatives that boycotted your company. Just sell the Kirk. Call it a day. Move along. But look, it's an energy. It's an aura. It's a force field that you send out. Kenneth gives me vibe checks if I'm getting a little too, some of this news is toxic. And if you have to touch it, it can hurt you. It can damage you. We've all been damaged. We were all psychologically attacked like we were on 9/11 with the Charlie Kirk assassination. We were psychologically attacked. And you know what? A couple days earlier, I guess the footage came out, but it happened a month before or several weeks before. In North Carolina, Iryna Zarutska, say her name, type her name in the comments so we don't forget. She was the biggest, most outrageous example of what the Democrat policies have done across this country to subject us to violent, crazy people, violent, crazy actions. That's not what we can have in this society. We got to get along. We got to get along to some degree. You can go do your thing in your corner. I don't need to be in your bedroom giving a shit what you're up to. On the same token, you keep your stuff to yourself and we'll keep our kids to ourselves. Clear-cut lines have been crossed. Obviously, of violence, of indoctrination, of intrusion, of censorship across the board. But this is not a time for whataboutism. This is a time to figure out what the fuck is going on. And Iryna Zarutska, say her name, type her name, Iryna Zarutska. It doesn't really roll off the tongue like Charlie Kirk. Oh yeah, Durka. Southpark didn't come out with their episode. First time in 27, 28 years? They just introduced Charlie Kirk into their episodes. And Charlie Kirk laughed at it because it is kind of funny. Maybe the funniest part, but something that he said in there was a little too far, like not actual quotes. And I get it, but like it does start to blur a line to make people think people are saying things and believing things that they don't actually say and don't actually believe. I'm having many conversations with people going, no, Charlie Kirk was not a racist. Where did you get that? Well, he said that they can't do these jobs. It's like, no, my God, look at this. Zoom out, grab your phone, get 2 fingers and zoom back and read the paragraph, read the whole text, play the whole fucking video. Watch this. And people are like actually trying to justify, well, he said some fucked up shit. We had to blow him away. No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. And our schools and our media has been so off the fucking rails for years, pushed with the Obama doctrine. I'm telling you, he found a unique way in the social media age to weaponize everything. Every branch of our federal government was turned inward onto normal Americans. I'm not going to call them conservatives, Republicans, MAGA, right, the far right. Fuck that. I'm sick of these labels and I don't identify as any of those particularly. MAGA has shown major cracks in it in the past few months. Maybe you'll say it already has. Culture war things, obvious common sense things, fiscal things. There are so many positives coming in. I'm not going to take anything away from the positives of MAGA, but the cracks are huge. There are major concerns. There have been no arrests over the fuckery that we've lived through for the past just focus on the past 5 years, let alone the past 15 years of where we've been. But yeah, type her name, Iryna Zarutska. This country is off the rails right now. Ask your lefty friends. I can't believe you said lefty. You said don't call me righty. Shut up. I do have these thoughts. Like as I'm talking to you, I envision what a Karen would say in that moment. Oh, can I share something with you that was absolutely incredible? This was, let me see if it's on X. Because we have to find a way to come together, and we have to not tolerate the weaponization of everything everywhere. And it's being pushed. It's being pushed from some specific places. Here, let me share this one with you. Watch this. 55 seconds of this. There it is. Okay. Hey, Jamie, can you pull up the Mark Normand set? Thank you, Jamie. By the way, I'm Jamie. Watch this. This is so well done. I can't even put it into words. Easily one of the best comics around. Saw him in person a year ago. Speechless. I was so laughed out. I laughed so much. He is so fast. He is so quick. And the writing here on this, it is superb. He found a way to thread the needle. He tap danced around a minefield. We need to come together on some stuff. Listen to Mark Normand, comedian.
Charlie Kirk, that was crazy. Sad, not cool, not cool. I saw that on a Wednesday. I was like, holy shit, I got to process all this. And I went to bed. I woke up the next day. I'm like, all right, I can feel a little better today on 9/11. It's pretty wild. We got to stop calling everybody Nazis. Like Sydney Sweeney got called a Nazi a couple weeks ago. Sydney Sweeney, a Nazi for wearing jeans and stuff. But I call her Titler. But, yeah.
Titler?
Yeah. You know what we got to do? We can't vote on anything. We can't agree on anything. We should vote on who to shoot. We can't stop shooting people. Let's these all come together and be like, all right, let's shoot the baseball Karen lady. How about that, huh? There we go. That's how we bring the country back together.
Man.
But again, really sad.
Yeah. That's comedy. That's not really a call to violence. It's just saying, like, can't we unite on things that are just that, 80-20 issues, 90-10 common sense things, and focus on these things instead of these fringe issues that are driving us apart, tearing us apart. I mean, that's good writing right there. He addressed the elephant in the room without being unwatchable. Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been able to do that in 10, 15 years. That's actual comedy. Yeah, but wasn't it inappropriate where he said he needed to do violence to the Karen and joking. But really, the country did unite against that Karen. And you know what I said about the Karen, if you're not aware, is that the thing she stole that angered me the most, the baseball pissed me off. Look, I'm a baseball fan wearing my Jose Ramirez jersey. Yeah, Jose's like he might be the last member of the Cleveland Indians on our squad. And then there won't be a link to that franchise. It's not the same franchise. It did change. Mark Normand wrote a very clever skit and he danced around it, and he wasn't mean to Charlie Kirk, and he didn't say she deserved it, and he didn't lie about things to frame things in a completely upside down way to rile up his other brainwashed people, his brainwashed Zoomers, as you said. So Jimmy Kimmel's gone because he couldn't do that. And if you can't do that, don't even dance in those waters. Like, it's tough. I cover the news each day. It's tough. It's all trash, and sometimes I get more riled up than others. And sometimes, I've never been a super fan of Charlie Kirk. As I said, he's on the intro to the show that I'm going to click in a second here, and then we're going to dig through the stories. I consider him to be a distant cousin I ran into once at a family reunion a few years ago. Met him in Los Angeles at Politicon. He had no seconds to spare, so of course he gave me 20 seconds and a soundbite and a handshake. Very gracious, very kind, very nice, very accommodating. He didn't owe me anything. And then I did have the opportunity to report on Jack Posobiec's Human Events and the next show for Real America's Voice. And then Steve Bannon, we were supposed to be on with Bannon. I think he had a guest that went double the segments or triple the segments. And so, like, our spot, we didn't get called in for it. We were on the scene ready to go, but I guess their guest went long. So I jumped in to work with Real America's Voice for a day. Charlie's show, the Charlie Kirk show, was on Real America's Voice every day or every week, So yeah, I've taken a lot of this stuff personally, and the agree to disagree component of it, like, yes, we're calling it the TNAM Daily Show now. When I was doing it with Blake, we just kept it as the agree to disagree show. But I think agree to disagree will just be more bringing guests in. We'll do our one-on-ones on the agree to disagree show. TNAM Daily Show, we're just a bunch of raccoons dumping trash all over, sifting for trying to find a banana that's edible. Like, ew, that's the bathroom bag of trash. I'm good. I don't need anything. Nothing good ever comes out of there. Ooh, the kitchen scraps. Oh, this is a perfectly good apple. Num, 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 num. But that's what we do here. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's launch the program and get ready for a lot of fun. If you have any stories that you want me to discuss or address, here, let me put it at the bottom of the screen. All the places you can find the New American Media: Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube under the New American Media. Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X at American_Media_. And the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. But if there's a story you want me to cover, tag me on X at American_Media_. And we'll see if we can't work it into the show, because you're all following things and there's breaking news. I mean, we were trying to wrap up the show Wednesday, Tuesday, last week, and everything went off the rails. And we just stayed there live until we could give you a final update on, but I wasn't a super fan. And the way I've gone back is I'm watching all these interviews. I'm like, he handled himself way better. But he was in a different forum. He was presenting a specific version, and there's a way to do that with near consistent grace and low volume and monotone. And I do something different. I get on stage and I do some comedy. I act out characters. I do impressions, and it brings a different energy out of me. So in those characters, I'm sure, anybody could clip anything out of context, and you know what? You could clip it into context, but one statement doesn't make a person. 5 statements don't make a person. Like, the more people see what Charlie said, you're like, yeah, you've totally missed the point. You've literally been whipped into a frothing rage and you don't know what you're talking about, because his point is your exact point. It's like, huh? So we got to do something to get the public airwaves being used for. It's okay to have your political ideology. It's okay to have your different points, but when you're whipping up an army and constantly low key and obviously calling for violence because you've lost the argument. Get better arguments. We have to figure out which direction we move after this. And I hope there's a lot of places we can agree on things, but Charlie had that energy of agree to disagree. We ask you to join the mostly civil conversation here. It's okay. We can get a little fired up, and you might say some things that I think are pretty fucked up. And that's okay. I mean, if you're consistently hyper aggressive and demeaning and fraudulent, like, yeah, at some point you go, all right, I think we're kind of good here. I don't think you're being a fair arbiter of I don't think you're playing fair. And if that's the way it's going to be, I'm not getting anything out of this conversation anymore. You're being disingenuous. You're being intentionally deceptive, and I'm not a fan of it. Call them out, and people have, by the millions, have called Jimmy Kimmel out. We can't stand it. So this isn't like Trump goes, hey, get rid of him. Roseanne said, hey, Obama, remember when you called to make sure I lost my show? Trump didn't do that. Jimmy did this to himself. The people getting fired have done this to themselves. And the amount of people who are more annoyed and more angry that Jimmy Kimmel is temporarily suspended, I believe that's where it sits, maybe. Ask those people what they felt. Did it bring them to tears when they watched a political assassination live on their phone? Or were they dancing around and laughing about it? We're not the same. I bet Charlie Kirk would say, pray for the people that are this lost, that they can find their way back. Yeah, I mean, that dude was more of a spiritual leader than a political leader, but he could have easily been next in line after J.D. Vance for president. They say everyone that met him came away thinking that. So it's been a lot. So if you know what, fuck it. If we need to hear the word titler to let a little tension out and laugh a little bit, for fuck's sake, like, come on. We're tuning into late night comedy to let go of some of this stuff, we don't need you radiating this negative energy. It pushes people away. It's a Kenneth vibe check. Vibe check. Kenneth will type, I'll go, all right, I'm getting fired up. I'm just so angry. And it's okay. It's okay. Like, we can't live in angry, but like, if we experience it, roll through it, work through it, try to be reserved as much as you can and responsible with it. Don't act on it, and figure out how to process it and work your way through it. You can't live in it. And that's what CNN, MSNBC, CBS, Fox, Disney, like these people have been living in it. Just absolutely bombarding you with it. I've lost boomers to watching these things and thinking it's just constant flashing rage and alert. And look at those evil people. They're constantly painted as demons. And there's actually a couple people out there acting surprised that someone would take a shot. But who took the shot? Some dude that was hooking up with a dude who wanted to be a chick who dressed as a furry? Is that a patsy, or is that an actual shooter? The more you learn about the story, the dots don't, like, they're not, it does, I'm not understanding what we're supposed to believe about this story. Now we have him at a Dairy Queen 16, 17 minutes after. What does that even mean? But that would be assuming it would be one of the people who have been radicalized by the media did it. What if it was a foreign country? Didn't I see Netanyahu out there saying he was pretty sure it was an Iranian? Didn't I see that's the story? Now they're trying to pin it on some local group in Utah led by an Iranian man that wants to live as an Iranian woman in America, in Utah. Some pink socialist group or something. Jimmy Kimmel's trying to say it's MAGA. It's a groiper. There's all sorts of terminology for people. And then the right is saying, no, it's the left. It's a radicalized left. Truth is, We're a week in. We don't know shit. Why do we know all of these alleged? Because we're all afforded a right to a fair trial. Every one of us. We can be accused, fine. But that doesn't mean that we get tarred and feathered without the opportunity to defend ourselves, to defend our reputation, to defend our livelihood, to defend our all of it. And Netanyahu's been out there at least 3 times, maybe 4, if it was 2 days on with Greta Van Susteren, or 1, I'm not sure, 3 or 4 times. He's like, no, man, I'm hearing a bunch of BS. I didn't do that. And it's like, in a way, that's what we would all say. But we all need to not rush to judgment. But I think there's just about zero air quote evidence that this person was MAGA. Why would an Indians fan want Chief Wahoo and their team name removed from their own favorite baseball team? We don't. We never did. My God, if anything, keep the logo of Chief Wahoo, the most awesome cartoon character ever. Change the name to the Tribe. That's a nickname for Indians. Oh, there's a tribe of Indians. There's a gathering, a group. And you know what? What does a tribe mean? It means if you're a part of us, you're a part of us. Greater Northeastern Ohio. If you're part of the tribe, you're in the tribe. I would be cool with a compromise there even. Because then, okay, the Indians, it's just technically inaccurate. It's like they thought it was India and it was West, the West or the Americas. All right, call us the tribe. Keep our logo. Let's go. But no, outside forces come in and try to dictate the terms on communities that don't want that. But it's a top-down thing that Obama has focused on as a community agitator. He's been doing for 20 years. And he has the gall out there. I played that video yesterday trying to claim that his administration wasn't radical. Sir, if I may be so bold as to give you a title I don't think you deserve, you are the architect. You are the architect of the amplified chaos we've been seeing around us since you came on the scene. Foot soldiers, mobs, riots. It's what happens when you're trying to topple a country. And we have to figure out how to process all this stuff. So, I've never intentionally lied to you about a story. I don't intend on doing it. We're in it together, so share the stories on X. We're going to get to today's program and dump all of these garbage stories onto the table and see if we can't find a few scraps to enjoy. Welcome to the TNAM Daily Show on the New American Media.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
In the honor of vibe checks, Kenneth says, Jimmy Kimmel played the role of Chief Spreading Bull. Talking about the Indians. Chief Spreading Bull. And he's been spreading bull. But yeah, it's also... it's a function of ratings. Tim Pool pointed out the ratings. There are no ratings. Like the love for this dude has been It's a long, stale bag of groceries that's been sitting out a little too long. That's kind of funny. Chief Spreading Bull. Not live on Rumble, you say? Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Why would that be? Not live? Oh, no. It's started 39 minutes ago. It's showing. Okay. It looks like it's loading. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Those are the places to follow the New American Media. Also, we have tip jars in this bar on Patreon. It's pinned to the top of our X feed at American_media_. But that's our conversation with John B. Wells. But it's also our Patreon link if you'd like to go there and sign up to be like a $10 monthly subscriber, $100 a month, $1,000 a month. A couple of you could make a big difference, and every one of you do make a difference. There's new software. I'm thinking about getting some more AI software and getting another streaming service that's a paid thing. So it's like, yeah, there's another ongoing $50 a month if I want that. So it all matters. We don't accept big pharma money, but we do appreciate your support. Let's go to the news and dump upside down our Instagram feed at the New American Media. All right, here we go. People okay with murder, outraged by TV show cancellation. And it's not just being okay with murder. It's about being really dancing on the grave and celebrating the brutal slaughter. And that's so off-putting for so many reasons. And I would welcome I'd be curious. Show me your evidence that this is happening to an equal amount on the right. I'm curious if you think you know it. And don't point to O.J. Simpson, for the love of God. That was about evidence, not about skin color. And this shit, look, and when I complain about Obama and I point out how he's weaponized things, you go back to the mid-90s with O.J. and it was like, well, if you're black, you're going to support O.J. If you're white, you're going to be opposed to O.J. It's like, where did that idea come from? Who had all the evidence pointing to, yeah, that was the dude that did the thing? Why that got turned into something it wasn't, still beyond me. Wrote a book, If I Did It. Oh my God. But yeah, seems like a lot of people who have been okay with that murder and with Iryna Zarutska's murder have been outraged with a TV show cancellation. So there are multiple Americas right now, and we are fighting to figure out which one wins. Do you want more people who feel like this? Or do you want more people that feel like you? Rashida Tlaib again.
And I think it's really important. We need to stand up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact.
Okay. She smacks it and says, fascist is not a bad word. It's a fact. Representative Byron Donald says, it's been 8 days since a leftist assassin shot my friend Charlie Kirk. I don't know if I'm following him. Let me click. Okay, I did follow him.
And I think it's really important.
Just now, Rashida Tlaib called us fascist again. This rhetoric is wrong. This rhetoric is unhinged. This rhetoric is out of line. This rhetoric has inspired murder. We will not stand to be defamed.
And we need to stand up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact. And here in D.C. and across the country, it is so incredibly important, Mr. Chair, that this committee does not allow rhetoric that defames or
Wow, she confused herself there. You can't allow rhetoric that defames. And you caught her get really stumbled up here. She's like, wait, what am I saying? This is the most hypocritical thing I've ever said within the same paragraph.
Paints Washington, D.C. in a way.
Oh, okay. No. We can't have things painting Washington, D.C. in a way, but we can paint the other side of the aisle as radical, violent, bloodthirsty fascists. Okay.
That you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
I don't yield. I don't even have time. I can
Well,
tell you.
your time's expired.
It is
Mr.
expired, but
Lee.
Mr.
I've
Chair.
been nice.
But you all live
like
here,
Mr.
and
Lee.
you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our
Mr.
nation's
Lee.
capital.
Yeah, they need a mute button.
And no, it's just wrong how we're
Oh,
doing
they-
it.
Chairman, I think it's
Wrong.
insane that
But
the
you're
young lady
gonna
doesn't
look
have
at
an
the ones
argument,
in
but she's going to
Washington,
refer
D.C.
to
as a
me
bunch
and some
of
of my
criminals. You yield to
colleagues.
Mr.
Mr. Chair,
Donald.
We were
you
from the
know
Third
this.
Reich. This
You're
is insane.
gonna look at
It's
14,
insane.
15-year-olds as
It's
a bunch
insane.
of criminals?
It's insane.
Oh,
Do I look like a
please.
member of the Third Reich to you, Ms.
Please,
Tlaib?
please,
Is that what I look like to
please.
you?
You're the one taking your voting
Is that what
card,
you think?
giving it
Is that
to
what you
somebody,
think?
committing
Is that
a
what you
crime.
think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane.
You
And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and all of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Regular order.
That's okay. But it's okay, right?
That is not how it
It's
goes.
okay, right?
You hold yourself accountable before you talk about
Hold
Washington,
myself
D.C.
accountable.
Mr. Lee.
Washington,
Hold
D.C.
your
out
own
of your
self
mouth.
accountable. How
Keep
about
it out of
that?
your mouth.
Hold your own
I'm
self
trying,
accountable.
Mr.
How about that?
Free D.C. and make sure you
All right.
vote
Where is the mute button for Congress? That's another question I just put. You just give them a mute button. Where's the mute button? How do you not have a mute button?
with your own voting card. Don't be giving it to somebody
Mr.
else.
Lee. All right, time.
And I think it's really important. We need to stand.
Yeah, it's really important to remove people like you from Congress and vote in better representatives. Christina Button says, you said remove her from Congress. You're so violent. You're calling for death. No. We need fair elections, and we need real candidates that are going to really represent America instead of people like that. What do you mean people like that? People that act like that and say what she says. You're saying that because it's a she. No. You're saying it because of where her parents are from. Nope. You're saying it because of nope, I'm not. I'm saying it because of who she is and how she represents herself. That's, what do they call that? Is that cancel culture? No, it's repercussion. It's not. It's a repercussion. It's a consequence culture. Christina Buttons here says, the left doesn't hate Charlie Kirk because it has become clear that they have no idea who he is or what he stood for. They hate the caricature that they created of him. And by the way, Southpark misses their first episode forever. And if you go back, yeah, it was kind of funny, but the things Cartman said as Charlie Kirk were kind of fucked up, and it was a little unfair. And you're not really doing it to the other side because you ignored Joe Biden, the most comedy-rich opportunity of your careers, and you let Biden skate home free after stealing our country in 2020. You let him skate free, and you got rewarded with your $1.5 billion payday. Congratulations on your success. Thank you for all of the laughs. But guys, what the fuck? And they didn't let their episode air because what? They were going to do it again. They were going to do something stupid and mean about Charlie Kirk. They were going to ignore it. They were going to address it. They were going to what? Seems a little weird. It's just when things are completely one-sided, you got a problem. That's why we try to consider alternative points of view. But man, they made a caricature out of this guy because the more I dug into him, the more I was like, this guy's pretty damn good, pretty damn respectful, very sharp. He just talks about things that his interpretations of what the Bible's saying is a good way to conduct yourself in society. If you don't agree with him, you tell him that and you question him or call him out and say, I think you got that wrong. And here's why I believe what I believe. And you talk. Come on, people. This is stupid. This is stupid. But he did span from religious leader to political leader. He was on path. He could have been, maybe the math still wouldn't have added up for him to be old enough to be vice president, but maybe in the second term for J.D. Vance. Maybe Charlie could have served in an administrative function that doesn't have an age requirement as a secretary somewhere. But I mean, he was loving what he was doing and being successful at it. Why would he change? I mean, a really big piece, a big chess piece was taken off the board. I didn't realize how big a piece. Cassie Akiva says, I can't stop looking at this text Charlie sent me after crazy people doxed his parents. They will put the address of your family out there for violence. guys, TNAM preparedness moment here. Time out. There is a faction of this that have infiltrated this country that are trying to identify you and harm you. This is a clear and present threat, which is why President Trump named Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Okay. So what comes next? Charlie texted, allegedly, I can't confirm this is from Cassie Akiva. But Charlie says, people hate me. Cassie says, it's the price you pay for going into politics, but a lot of people like you too. Yes, it's all good, he says, allegedly. The only hate I hate. The only hate that I hate is the misrepresentation of my positions. Yeah, agreed. David Weigel says, Washington Post fired me over Charlie Kirk posts, writes Karen Attia. I've been canceled by Columbia. I have now been canceled by Washington Post. Brad Palumbo jumps in and says, Karen Attia published a fake quote without correction or retraction to smear a man's reputation immediately after he was murdered in an act of political terrorism. That is 100% a fireable offense. I don't say that word often. That is 100% a fireable offense. Yeah, don't misrepresent my positions. If you have some questions, talk to me about it. Don't screen me out. Don't block me out, and don't misattribute and think you know everything about me and where I stand. Ask me a direct question. Yeah, well, you said once. Don't just ask me today. Ask me today. What are you thinking? What is your question of me today? I can't speak to what I was thinking 14 years ago. Nope. So ask me today. Charlie did that every time he handed the microphone to whoever was out there. Just talk to me today. But yeah, a 100% fireable offense. Educated Hillbilly says, if Charlie Kirk said so much racist stuff, they wouldn't have to change the quotes to make it seem racist. That's a tell. Communism Survivor here says, it's not just Charlie Kirk. The left legitimately hates everyone who doesn't agree with every facet of their insane ideology. Stephen King says, I apologize for saying Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick biblical passages. A little bit of accountability there. Clarification. It's what we do on the TNAM Daily Show. We're clarifying stuff. We're dumping it on the table. And what did I just read? The BB had 8 different times. He said, we didn't kill Charlie Kirk. And you go, what an odd thing to say. No, it wasn't 8. According to Grok, it was 3 or 4. And by the way, Grok could be wrong. It could be 0. It could be 16. I don't know. We welcome conversation here. We don't welcome, to be a troll is one thing, but to be in committing crimes, which happened 2 weeks ago with violent death threats in here, like that's not something we tolerate. That's something the FBI follows up on. And your paper trail is built and you have a record attached to you for your actions. That's not cancel culture. That's accountability. Cancel culture. That's consequence culture for acting like an asshole. By the way, you're also allowed to act like an asshole. If you disagree with the point I'm making, say, I can't believe you're still defending the Cleveland Indians. That's so antiquated. We can discuss it and you can have an opinion on it and I can have another opinion on it. You don't get to silence a person that doesn't agree with you on every single topic at your whim. Are we really talking about how water is wet and the sky is blue? Is this a kindergarten classroom? There's a way that humans are supposed to comport themselves. It's verbally, peacefully, respectfully-ish. Because I do start to take offense. I do start to get bitter. I do start to get mean, and you activate a fight or flight amygdala response from me if I feel a certain way. And the whole country felt attacked this past week, watching Iryna Zarutska's horrific video on the Charlotte L train, and then watching Charlie. You know, that is a harvesting of loosh, of bad energy. That's a demonic act. That's on the level of a 9/11. I can't believe you compare the death of one person to 9/11. Literally 911 people died on 9/11. Isn't that? Don't you know that? It's not what happened. It wasn't 911. It was actually way worse. It was 4 times that. Right? 3,000, something like that. We've been through a trauma. And there's a group that's calling for more of this. So how prepared are you? There's a question of the day. Question of the day. Realizing that there are activated groups hell-bent on destruction that are targeting the good guys and girls. Have you made any changes in the past week? Situational awareness, security, training, tools, protocol. Have any changes been made? I'd be curious. Question of the day. Type it in. Guy Benson here responds to Stephen King and says, I strongly suspect Charlie would have accepted this apology and then invited you to come talk with him. I hope you think about that. You know who we reached out to? I saw comedian Jimmy Dore. Blake Wally and I went to the 2016 Republican convention in Cleveland for the New American Media. And Blake was in one spot and he filmed Jimmy Dore spit in the face of Alex Jones. He drank a big sip of iced tea and spit it all over Alex Jones, who had walked onto the set of The Young Turks with Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. Is that what it is? Cenk Uygur? Why do I not know how to pronounce his name? Cenk? I think that's how you sank. Cenk. Roger Stone was there. So I invited Jimmy Dore to come on, Agree to Disagree, and bring Blake on. We've been meaning to connect for 9 years. That happened in 2016. And I hope that he does. I really do. I hope that he jumps on. That'd be cool. People are better than their worst moments. Have you ever had a bad moment? You ever fucked up? Have you ever done something that's like, you just think back on it, you're like, really? Like in the moment, you just didn't see it. You just weren't even like comprehending in hindsight or watching it on tape or like going back and reviewing and thinking about it from another perspective. And you're like, oh my dear Lord, was I really? Yeah. So are we better than our worst moments? A Christian has to believe that. Otherwise, there is no redemption arc if you can't be redeemed. If you're irredeemable, who fucking cares? Why should I try? Well, not perfect. Might as well just stop. I missed perfect attendance. I got sick last week, or I got sick today. You know what? I'm just done going to class. I'm done. And then you just check out. Well, if I can't be perfect, I'm done. Well, nobody's perfect. So aren't we allowed chances to revise our statements and through conversations come around to better ideas, better arguments, better questions, leading to better policy positions that we hold? So it's 111, Kenneth. If you didn't tell me that, I had to tell you. Trash Panda, 100% prepared. There you go. Always having my head on a swivel. Marion, yes. Guy Benson is right. Because the way Stephen King did it right. I apologize for saying Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick biblical passages, such as how they cherry pick quotes to demonize people. Guy Benson, I strongly suspect Charlie would have accepted this apology and invited you to come talk with him. I hope you think about that. Welcome, David, from Ontario. Now we have an international show. Appreciate you. My brother from another mother, north of the border. Yeah. This is how you do it. You oh, okay. I didn't know that. I watched a clip and I thought I saw him say something that he wasn't. Yeah, so everybody needs to chill the fuck out and stop trying to do this, to literally put crosshairs on people. And the people that are calling for it, they have to be dealt with because these are terroristic threats. This is national domestic terrorism. There are lots of calls for this type of stuff, and it's not okay. What's this? Katie said, "What am I doing today, you ask? Arguing on Facebook with leftist friends who I normally just scroll past. I'm pretty much just repeating, where did he say that? Find the quote. Oh, you can't? Are your news sources credible? Reliable? Would you like to hear that quote in context? You don't? Why not? You need to apply the broken windows theory of online discourse. Police the minor infractions so they are less likely to believe and advance the major infractions." The Kiffness says, "I'm ashamed to say that once upon a time, if the media said someone was racist, I would believe them. It was too much effort to find out what they actually said and formulate my own opinion. Luckily, X allows us to bypass legacy media, but many still unfortunately believe them." Colin Wright says, "They never cared about hold on, let me go underneath. I think I'm doing this in the order." Christopher Rufo says, "Our fact checkers and misinformation reporters are curiously silent about left-wing journalists falsifying quotations and spreading the lie that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a far-right groper." Left-wing journalists falsifying quotes and spreading lies that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a far-right groper. Colin Wright says, "They never cared about misinformation. They just wanted the power to censor their political opponents." So here's the spear of political violence on the screen. The stick, the long stick, is made up of people who encourage it and justify it and cheer it on. So 95% of it is the people like you who are calling for this and cheering it on and sharing it and encouraging it in the chat rooms, in real life, online, text message, DMs. You've got a bloodlust within you. You need to pray to release the demon of this. Okay. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, Grand Architect of the Universe, Supreme Being, Jesus Christ, whatever you want to define that essence of purpose to be, pray that the demons of anger and bloodlust are ripped out immediately from the people who have been brainwashed and abused by their indoctrinators. In your name we pray. Amen. Yeah, the spear of political violence, it's mostly just people encouraging it, justifying it, and cheering it on. The tip is just, those are the people that commit the violence. Tim Urban here says, "Very few of us know the people at the tip of the spear. We can make the biggest impact by uniting against the handle, making that behavior far more taboo than it is now." Kathleen says, "Turns out if you spend 10 years equating emotional harm with the gravity of physical harm, people will get casual about physical harm. Who knew?" Angela says, "I feel like people are trying to convince me that Tyler Robinson murdered someone he agreed with. Am I making this up? I feel like people like Jimmy Kimmel are trying to convince me that Tyler Robinson murdered someone he agreed with. Am I making this up?" Cleveland Indians. Do you think the fans of the Cleveland Indians wanted to murder our franchise? By the way, the kids who grew up as Cleveland Indians fans, 10, 20, 30 years, how many decades? A decade, 2 decades, 3 decades? Going to games with their family and their friends and playing baseball and always dreaming about being a Cleveland Indian. Do you think these people wanted to murder their team? It was outside agitators, it was outside activists that got loud in bullying to the point where Major League Baseball and the Cleveland Indians ownership group agreed. And maybe there was, hey, we're going to award you a all-star game as long as you get rid of this mascot and team name. Just rebrand. Well, you know what? We'll even get Tom Hanks. You know, Tom Hanks, he's nothing bad's ever been rumored about him, right? Right? You've never heard a bad thing about Tom Hanks, right? No, you've never His name has never been named in any list of things. No, it's Tom Hanks, but he's in on it. He's on their team. He's on their payroll. You know who's on their payroll? Jimmy Kimmel's the top of their payroll. Literally, figuratively, theoretically, loosely. Whether it's exact that you can pinpoint a wire transfer or not, it's there. It's an outside influence. Yeah, people are trying to convince me that the dude that killed the guy agreed with the guy. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. Jesse Kelly says, you know who has absolutely noticed all the Democrats celebrating Charlie's assassination? The next assassin. David says, not much to say about the other side, except they're out of control, crazy, satanic creatures. Some of them are. And when the mom of one of those people says, please take my son into custody, please commit him, he's out of control, he's violent, we're scared, before he ends the life of Iryna Zarutska. We need to listen and commit our crazy people and then treat them with respect and zero abuse, but they need to be removed from society. The people who are out there LARPing as revolutionaries, trying to start a hot war in our own country, like this is not how we're going to handle things. You're on the wrong side of this. If you want to make a point, you make your point with your words. Articulate yourself. And if your idea is not widely accepted, it isn't widely accepted. We live in a mostly libertarian society in theory. If people just left people alone, but that's what this is, whether it's Sharia law or whether it's you must use these pronouns or you must accommodate. Now I want to be on the girls' volleyball team and jump in the sauna with them. And you're like, yeah, I didn't get the memo on that one where society went, hey, that's a thing that we need to do. And you can say, no, I'd really like that. And it's like, okay, duly noted. And that's that. Yeah, the next assassin has noticed your celebrations. Colin Wright says, when a bunch of left-wing... by the way, this is from I'm not even following this account. I need to follow it. This is a good thread. Buttons lives. Christina Buttons. Colin Wright says, when a bunch of left-wing normies posted comments on social media like, too bad he missed, regarding Trump's attempted assassination, there was always some degree of uncertainty about whether they were serious or just making edgy, provocative statements, as Trump did not die. But with Kirk's assassination, the uncertainty is gone. A shocking number of people on the left actually support murdering their political opponents. I think this sudden and widespread realization has been a tipping point for many on the right. You've ended the moderate right. There is a clear and present danger. There are wolves hunting down our flock. This is not a time, you don't make peace with evil. David doesn't like calling them human beings because their nature is not of human nature. Sadly, you're right about that. Watch this video. Fox News shared from Real News Just Facts. Coast Guard seizes over 5,000 pounds of cocaine. Music, so I can't play it. There's a vessel, and they're running over. They're jumping on, and they're getting these people out. And that guy can't keep his butt in his pants. They keep blurring it. They just jump on and board this vessel. Dozens of people arrested. There were dozens of people on that little boat. How tight were they packed in? And that is a precarious moment right there. Yeah, you've watched more of these videos lately than you ever have, boarding vessels and patrolling our own country. You know, and then on the flip side, if you're into cocaine, like, you know, whatever, if you're not going to harm other people around you, libertarian stance is like, do Do as thou wilt, but cause no harm. That's like blending different philosophies together, but libertarian really is the non-aggression principle. NAP. If what you're doing is not aggressive to another person, then it's like, I get to do this thing. Nobody gets to stop me from doing something that's not aggressive to somebody else. But it's the others that want to bark in your face and tell you, give me the baseball, cover up in this bed sheet, let me in the sauna. You're like, stop. No. If you want to go do your thing where you're at and you want to keep to your, you want to do your thing, you do your thing. But no, you don't come in here barking at me, telling me the way things are going to be. That's less a religious problem, less a ideological problem. It's more of a courtesy issue. Out of common courtesy, you don't get in someone's face and bark at them the way that I'm going to dictate all these terms at you now. That's not how this works. Hey, Millennial Republicans posted this. This says here, after Charlie Kirk's memorial in Bentonville was destroyed earlier this week, a group of local kids came by to restore it. There is still good in our country. I say bravo, young man. Adults destroyed it and kids fixed it. Respectful kids raised by respectful parents. Let's find out who these kids are and reward them. Someone taught their children well. Bless their hearts. There's hope for the youth, guys. Never give up. Gen Z is the most common sense. Don't call them conservative generation. Don't call them MAGA generation. Don't call them right. Don't call them far right. Don't call them. Just say Gen Z is the most normal generation we've had in a long time. They are super anti-woke and they're anti-forever war. And if you look at the United States, the woke thing is killing us from the left and the foreign control is killing us from the right. The banking control is killing us from the right. We've lost our sovereignty. We're just debt slaves. It's weird. We all see it. We all know it. This doesn't work. This is going to end as you would imagine it was going to end. And maybe they're saving the best for last. Maybe they're saving the biggest one for last. You've heard that out there before. I don't know if that's true. But what if you were tasked with fixing all this stuff? Where do you even begin? Where would one even begin? Anyway, here's Steve Bannon breaking down the Charlie Kirk stuff.
And what we found in Utah was shocking. One of the reasons I don't think we're getting full information, I think Cox and these progressive Mormons, right? I know it's a big battle behind the scenes with the Mormon church and what's happened and people like Cox. They're trying to suppress information to see that, hey, this part of this murderous militia are made up of young Mormons that are furries or, transgender or part of this LGBTQ radical militia, right? You need all that. Now people are coming out online and saying, hey, the NSA knows there are like 20 international intelligence operations, cell phone data. This is my point. We need to flood the zone with real information that people are standing in the back of. And I appreciate the fact that Cash has taken charge of this. They're saying that Dan Bongino is going to leave in a couple weeks. I would plead with Dan Bongino not to do that. Number one, Dan Bongino is such a great guy, but not to do that because we need Dan Bongino there, because I think Dan Bongino is somebody the audience in the MAGA movement trusts to get to the bottom of it. And we have to get to the bottom of it because more information is coming out today, and, we just cannot have – I'm not saying somebody else had a shot. I'm not saying that there was another angle to a shot. I'm not saying somebody behind him shot it. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that it strains credulity given the videos that we've seen, the timeline that we have, the communication they had, the text messages they had, and the fact that nobody's rounded up, including with, I'm adamant, the parents ought to be rounded up, the gay lover rounded up, everybody in the Discord chat rounded up. Round them up and bring them in. Round them up and bring them in, and just let them sit there until you finish a thorough interrogation. And don't let things, oh gosh, we didn't do it, and some, things have gotten erased or memories fade, because it's not good enough. And I don't think the War Room audience is a pretty good indicator of kind of common sense America, decent America, the backbone of the
normal America, decent America
country. And I can tell from talking to people in the chats, etc., I don't think one of you right now believes what we're being spoon-fed. And this is why I say that this fight against the deep state, you saw a shift against Kash Patel. Kash Patel had every right to go back on him, given the history of Shift and given what Shift has done to this president and to the MAGA movement. And some of that's coming out now with Arctic Frost and other things. There's a lot more to disclose.
Arctic Frost, they were investigating Charlie Kirk's organization. They weaponized the church. They weaponized their alphabet agencies to attack Christians, to attack conservatives, to attack normal Americans with normal, basic, common sense political ideologies, attacked by Barry Soetoro, Barack Hussein Obama. In my administration, I didn't have extremists like you see today. There's really no place for extremism in the United States government. In my administration, we were scandal free. It took us, gave them the old okey doke, 5 days. We fundamentally transformed the United States of America. But we weren't, radical. I didn't put extremists into my administration. Like you see now, it's that guy. Don't you know he called Nazis fine people? This guy. That's literally what Obama was saying the week of the election. He was still repeating the fine people hoax. You don't. You could say you don't hate this guy enough, but all right, let me rephrase that. Let me try to live a little bit better, speak a little clearer. The ramifications for what that person did, the consequence culture, the coup, the repercussions and the bullying of Barack Hussein Obama. If we're going to stop this, we need to actually hold the people accountable that put us in this situation. Talking about Arctic Frost. Yeah, you weaponized everything against normal America because you were an absolutely radical, tyrannical administration.
Things that are coming. And Schiff should right now not even be in the Senate. He should have been turfed out by the governor because he'd been indicted. And he hasn't. He's allowed to run around the Senate. This is because of a backup of that other part of this, the investigations and the taking apart of the deep state through legal means. So now we have two things. And one is only going to get solved until you have the apparatus in place, the structure in place to go after it. And when I say go after it, it's not to just go after the furries in the Discord chat. It's not to go after even this young shooter. It's to go over that next layer of who trains these people. And then the next layer of who provides these platforms. The companies, the individuals, who finances it, who's their partners in the media, who their partners in politics, and particularly where the money comes from. And how much of that money comes from overseas. Charlie Kirk, we talk about this all the time. Charlie Kirk had not a ringside seat. He was in the arena. He had a better feel, I think, than anybody in this country of how the Chinese Communist Party has taken over these universities.
And that's part of what the TikTok ban is supposed to be about, and I guess the rumors are that they're still trying to just hold on to the algorithm because the algorithm's everything. If they can poison the brains of the kids, then they steal the country. Nothing can destroy us from without unless we're destroyed from within. Like, we got to fix our own house. Jordan Peter, clean your bloody room. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, read the Gulag Archipelago. Clean your bloody room. I got to work on a Jordan Peterson too. I have an essence of it, but I haven't really tried it. I mean, it defies logic. I like Jordan Peterson. I'd like to do a full interview with Jordan Peterson. He's done some incredible work. You mean you support Jordan Peterson? I can't believe it. I'm not going to be friends with you. I never liked you to begin with. That's what that dude did to me with Candace Owens. You like Candace Owens? I'm like, do you support Candace? I go, I don't know. What do you mean? Well, do you like her? Do you like the things she said? I go, she said a lot of good things. See, I know you're evil because I declare she's evil because she said 2 things I can't stand. Okay, guy. You're an awesome dude. I mean, he thinks he's pious. He thinks he's high and mighty. This person I'm talking about. It's pretty unfair. It was pretty unfair of him to do to me what you're seeing some people do to Charlie Kirk, misrepresenting. I need some evil to attach on, and I'm going to declare you're it, and I'm going to trauma dump all over you, you stupid head. David says they have definitely been attacking the elite's dirty underground money supply. Maybe they need to do it a little faster. Just where are the mass roundups? That's what Bannon is calling for. Just round them up. Let's go. Round them up. Kenneth says, I'm patiently waiting for an EBS weekend already. That's Emergency Broadcast System. For those of you in Rio Linda, California, I bring to you today in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers the definition of EBS. That's Emergency Broadcast System, not to be confused with the EIB radio network. Yeah, we are in scary times, so we either sit down, shut up, or we suit up. Suit up. Put on your spiritual armor. Take care of your body. I mean, shit, I don't know. I've been going through a process of reduction, really tightening the amount of consumption. And there's something very freeing about that. Put on your spiritual armor. Take care of your literal physical body. TNAM preparedness. I mean, look, if you got to grapple with somebody, do you have any skills? Do you have the ability to? Not to scare anyone. It's just like, look, we get one earthly body. It's one vehicle. So if you have a vehicle, it might make sense to keep oil changes, tire rotations, the basics, the basics. Stay on top of it. It is scary, but we need our, either hide in the shadows, go in the basement, or just put on your armor and get to work. There's really no other choice, actually. David says, I can see as we speak, a volcano is erupting in Hawaii again. Is it a big volcano? Is it like a big situation? Kenneth says, volcanoes are Earth zits. Okay. Pop. David, does anyone know if there was an earthquake in Japan again? I see stuff about apartment buildings collapsing. All right, let me play the rest of this Bannon clip, and then let's do a quick search of earthquakes and volcanoes. Tell me what we know.
And spread chaos. They may not be there, selling the little red book and getting everybody to sign on to Chairman Mao out of the gate. They don't need to. They need to sow discord. They need to sow chaos. They need to put doubts in people, everything from their gender to their family's history to the history of this country. If you see, in fact, I've put up a book on kind of like modern social order. I believe it's chapter 8. I'll put this up. It's up on Getter right now. It talks about Christianity, all of Christianity as a vehicle for like white supremacist hate. This is what's taught from kindergarten all the way through. And conservatives and Republicans have looked the other way for years because it's too hard, it's too personal, it gets very nasty very quickly. We can't do it. You look at that pomp and splendor, all that at Windsor Castle and the parade grounds and tomorrow Checkers. Doesn't mean anything if we lose Western civilization. And Western civilization is on the ropes right now. This is an inflection point. The only way it's going to be saved is you. When the American people set their kind of sights on, hey, here's what we have to do and here's how we're going to do it, then we'll know that we'll begin the journey to save this country. We've come such a long way over the last couple of years. The pandemic, the stolen election, President Trump in exile, all of it. Now the return to power. And I say, with as much as President Trump has done, and I think Rosemary Jinks confirms there's like 1.6 million or almost 2 million foreign nationals, including 1.6 million illegal aliens out of the workforce. Now, whether they've left the country or not, we don't know, but we assume they've left the country. President Trump sealed the border so much that he's done. Right? Today, markets are doing fine because of the rate cut and what he's doing, although everything's not determined by markets, but it's a pretty good indicator of where the smart money thinks things are headed. But we have a fight on our hands.
Preparedness. Be prepared. We have a fight on our hands right now, actively.
I told CPI the other night, having the White House and the executive branch, having the House of Representatives, the Senate, and basically the Supreme Court, I could argue that as hot as the country is, it's also dark. The forces that hate this country, the forces that hate President Trump, hate the MAGA movement, hate anything decent and good in this country, are not only not giving up, they think they've got a tool now called direct action to actually be victorious. Remember, this is not about unity. I don't care about unity. I care about victory. And what we...
Yeah. Prepare. Get ready. Take care of your spiritual, look inside. If maybe your curiosity has been piqued to maybe seek something religious out, to go to a service of whatever denomination, and it makes a huge difference. It's like saying, I'll just grab any old hamburger. No. The hamburger from your lunchroom in 7th grade, that's a bad burger, man. I don't even know what that is. But a real good hamburger, oh, man. I think that's what I want today. Yeah, maybe consider going somewhere this week. I'm 0 for 1. My church, the church that I went to, sucked. So, yes, it does appear that there was a volcano, an earthquake, Kamchatka. A tsunami alert was issued. This was last night in Russia, and then the tsunami alert has dropped. And there's a volcano in Hawaii. Let me buzz through the rest of these on Instagram, and then I'll go to our X feed.
Jimmy.
Okay, so here's Scott discussing it.
Fallon and Seth Meyers at NBC. Just wondering, do you have comments on those shows, and are they doing what Kimmel did Monday night, and is it even worse on those
Scott Jennings
programs, in your opinion?
This is FCC Chair Brendan Carr announcing that their commission may launch an investigation into The View following Jimmy Kimmel's suspension.
Well, look, you can be unfunny. That's fine. And a lot of people are sort of saying that, well, people are punishing Kimmel because they don't like a joke that he told. But, we don't need to rehash it here. But obviously what he said was not a joke. It wasn't presented at all that way. But when you look at these other TV shows, what's interesting is the FCC does have a rule called the equal opportunity rule, which means, for instance, if you're in the run-up to an election, you have one partisan elected official on, you have to give equal time, equal opportunity to the opposing partisan politician. So far, so good. But there's an exception to that rule called the bona fide news exception, which means if you are a bona fide news program, you don't have to abide by the equal opportunity rule. And over the years, the FCC has developed a body of case law on that and has suggested that most of these late night shows, other than SNL, are bona fide news programs. And potentially, I would assume you can make the argument that The View is a bona fide news show, but I'm not so sure about that. And I think it's worthwhile to have the FCC look into whether The View and some of these other programs that you have still qualify as bona fide news programs and therefore exempt from the equal opportunity regime that Congress has put in place.
Got about 30 seconds. Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers at NBC.
You know, there's a lot of interesting components to this Jimmy Kimmel story. Just don't believe it's all about silencing a political opponent. There's a lot to this, like the fact that he's on ABC. Like there are certain restrictions that have just been ignored under the Obama doctrine for decade and a half, essentially. So the feds arrest multiple NYC officials obstructing an immigration court.
I'm here to ensure that we protect all our fellow constituents. We shall not. It is not illegal to be undocumented. We shall not be moved. 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 We shall not be moved.
It's just like such a goofy little skit. What are we doing?
On this vote,
Disclosed TV says U.S. Senate confirms 48 of Trump's nominees all at once, 51 to 47.
the yeas are 51 and the nays are 47, and the nominations en bloc are confirmed. Thank you.
He won the election, put the nominees in place. Like, let's go. Like, we're 9 months in, 8 months in. Come on. Huh. In Tennessee, Steak and Shake launches a billboard in Nashville to fire Cracker Barrel CEO after a long history of DEI and woke ideology. That's funny. Steak and Shake's on the prowl. Cracker Barrel's board has failed its shareholders. It has spent over a decade fighting with one of its largest shareholders rather than collaborating for the good of the company. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Wasn't I just saying? I guess today is the National Cheeseburger Day. I love Pretzel Day. Danette says they're scared of us because we can make a positive change. Yep. So we got to speak louder. Happy National Cheeseburger Day. I am going to have to eat some cheeseburger today. What? President Trump talking to the press pool up on Air Force One.
Fly safely. You know why I say that? Because I'm on the flight. I want to get home. Otherwise, I wouldn't care.
What? There's another line I didn't even get to. I thought it was funny when President Trump up on the airplane to his press pool says, fly safely. You know why I say that? Because I'm on the flight. Otherwise, I wouldn't care. What type of quote is that? Man, I don't even know what just happened in that quote. There is so much going on in that quote. Toria Brooke here says Pentagon officials considering a military recruitment campaign focusing on Charlie Kirk's honor and might use the Turning Point USA chapter as recruiting centers. Slogans like Charlie awakened a generation of warriors are under discussion, per NBC News. Oh, there's Charlie with Don Jr. up in, that's Greenland, right? Our 51st state.
Long COVID can cause altered smell
there it is,
or parasomnia, where things smell distorted, foul, or different than they used to, even
This is Rogan talking with Jensen.
if the initial COVID-19 symptoms have passed. So did you get this after you got, like, when did this start happening? Did you get COVID?
Yes,
You
I
got
got COVID
vaccinated.
like 6 times. But
of course you did.
I just had
you
it
got
recently,
vaccinated.
yeah.
The people who didn't get vaccinated got it once or twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, they fucked you.
Do you feel that way? Feel like we got screwed over? By the way, here, I got to put this gun. I have to read this hostage video here. For countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and visit cisa.gov/rumor control for countervailing views on anything related to health or elections.
Fucked everybody. They fucked everybody with that goddamn stupid thing.
I got it hard. See, I'll talk to you about this, and then tomorrow, my liberal mom will be like, the vaccine is good. And I'll be like, yes, Mommy, I agree.
It's a long conversation. It would take a long time to explain what was wrong. But it all boils down to the same thing that it always does, which is money. They distorted the facts. They distorted the research.
Undisputed, indisputable facts. We were lied to. We were absolutely lied to.
They distorted the efficacy. They distorted what it was actually designed to do just because they wanted money. That's it. Long COVID can cause altered smell.
The Charlie Kirk Show producer Andrew Colvett tells Comedy Central to continue airing the Southpark episode that mocks Kirk. As someone who can speak with some authority on this, Charlie loved that he was featured in Southpark. He told me many times he would want that episode back up. Okay. It's tough, you know, because I get really testy with people trying to speak about Charlie Kirk. It's like, you know, keep his name out your mouth. And it's like, you know, let his legacy speak for it. But like, you know, Charlie was publicly laughing at this. Didn't he change his profile to the South Park guy? Didn't you send me a picture in South Park, John? On X? It was funny. Sort of. And a little unfair. Here we go. New. For the first time in 25 years, the Syrian foreign minister is visiting the United States. Assad al-Shaibani stands next to Senator Jim Risch, Republican, Indiana, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, as well as the U.S. ambassador to Turkey. Why is it spelled like that? And special envoy for Syria, Tom Barak. Okay. Kevin Kiley reminds, Gavin Newsom says there's no such thing as free speech under Donald Trump's reign. There's no such thing as free speech under Donald Trump's reign. I am Gavin Newsom, stealing your land in the Palisades. Thank you for your attention to my lunacy. Kevin Kiley there in California says, Newsom tried to ban COVID misinformation, tried to ban parodies. Tried to ban COVID, air quote, misinformation, which is often true, mostly true in many cases, tried to ban parodies of Kamala Harris, and tried to ban private Bible studies in your home. The courts stopped him each time. So don't get it twisted, pal. Hi, Nimbus. You want to jump up? I don't see your energy to jump, so I'll lift you up. Whee! Everybody say hi to Nimbus. Let me see if we can get him on the screen. There he is. Everybody, your moment is zen. Say hi to Nimbus. Give him the cat massage. Okay, so let's learn about this story in Laguna Beach, USD. Let me press play and then we can, I know, whoop, there he goes. Nimbuster. Okay, let's get the volume here. Okay, here we go. Shared by Libs of TikTok.
An Orange County high school student has been suspended after he wore a Make America Great Again hat to school, which sparked an argument in which he was assaulted. Nick Garcia is live in Laguna Beach. This story you'll see only on Fox 11.
Stop the
What do you have
violence.
first, Nick?
Right, Christine. Well, this happened on September 11th. You'll remember just the day before, on September 10th, is when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. So the student says he wore the hat in a way of standing in solidarity with Kirk. But another student took the hat off his head, threw it in the trash. And it's what happened next, the school is claiming happened next, that got him suspended. Watch. Zach Hornstein was studying at home Tuesday afternoon instead of in class at Laguna Beach High School. It's the first of his 2-day suspension for harassment, something he says he didn't do. Last Thursday, he was wearing a Make America Great Again hat, he says in honor of Charlie Kirk. A girl pulled his hat off and threw it in the trash. Then he says she started using profanity to describe President Trump.
I made a joke towards them and I said, if you don't like it here, Canada's open borders, feel free to go.
A teacher told administrators he said something different.
They're saying that I told a group of girls to go back to where they came from.
There's also nothing wrong with saying that if you're not from the area that you're in. Tired of these things being used to silence real conversations. If you sign as a free agent in a new city and you don't like it, go back to where you came from. Kareem Hunt left the Kansas City Chiefs, went to the Cleveland Browns, then went back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Go back to where he came from, although he is from Cleveland also. No, I don't accept that that's a phrase you're not allowed to use at all. Nope. And that's an argument I've watched simmer online for far too long. I don't accept those terms. Nope. If you don't like it, you can go. And if you don't like it, you can go back to where you came from. Nope. Nothing racist, sexist, ist, phobic. Nope. You don't like it here, go back to wherever you came from before you got here. There is nothing wrong with that if he did say that. But he doesn't say he said that. He said, Canada has open borders. You can go there. But he called it a joke. Don't call it a joke. Stand up in it. Go ahead. You don't like it? Go to Canada. They got open borders. Waltz right in. Get out of here. You're allowed to say that. There's nothing out of bounds there.
Which I never said that. When they called in the girl who was involved, she like literally told them that I never said that.
Zach's mom, Janet, feels the school is targeting her son because of his political beliefs, placing blame on him, who she says was the original victim.
I think that it's a double standard. I think that kids who have certain political beliefs are held to a different standard than kids who have other political beliefs.
Yep,
she says she is disappointed and
done with it. It's bullying. That's what the left has gotten away with. It's not cancel culture, it's consequence culture. There are repercussions, and it's been bullying. They're the biggest bullies around.
How the school is handling the situation.
I don't think either of these students should have been suspended, and we said that in our meeting. We said, you're punishing these students, and you're creating an environment of deeper hostility instead of creating an environment of dialogue.
Laguna Beach Unified said it cannot comment on student discipline matters, but sent Fox 11 a statement saying, when disputes arise on campus, schools must evaluate the behavior involved. California law defines the grounds for suspension, and we are reviewing the facts in this situation through that process to ensure it is handled fairly and consistently. Now, a few things to note. The school's dress code does not prohibit students from wearing politically affiliated clothing, though Zach's mom says she feels it should prohibit that to avoid situations like this in which she feels her son is being unfairly targeted and treated. As we mentioned, she met with the principal today, who is upholding that suspension. The family now weighing if they're going to bring this to the school board. Live in Laguna Beach, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
All right, Nick, thanks for that story.
So that's a weird one. Punish the kid that had his property stolen. Guess it's not surprising. But it is a little weird, isn't it? All right, let me buzz through X, and then we're going to wrap it up because we do have a show at 3:30 Eastern time. Today we are having Strictly Football, everybody. We'll be back. Strictly Football. I believe it's 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. 3:30 today, in about an hour and a half from now. Strictly Football. I'll have to update this and make it say season 2 episode. I think this is episode 4. Better hurry up and get that handled. All right, let's buzz through X. There we go. Okay. Like I said, there's our Patreon link right here if anyone wants to subscribe and be like, I like the show. I want to really be a regular. I want to be a regular. Okay, so there's a video here. Did you see this one? Watch this. Gotta get the music. So they're looking around in the crowd, and this guy's got a star on his chest. And he takes it. He sees someone looking at him that's filming, and he reaches for it. And he takes it off. And what? Puts it in his pocket? What was that all about? I don't know what that's about. They said no mainstream reports confirm identity, affiliation, or involvement. Claims of impersonation remain unverified social media speculation. Ongoing investigation. Who was this guy and what was he wearing a badge for? Does the badge look real or... But he felt guilty when noticed. That's the part you need to know. I don't know exactly what that means, but that means something. Okay, got your FYI, Trash Panda. Thanks for letting me know. Then I don't have to look today. Okay. So there's the volcanoes we were told about. Hawaii's Kilauea spewing lava during its latest eruption. One of the most active volcanoes and has been erupting periodically since December of 24. Okay. All that footage. Go big screen. I have to mute the music, though. What a powerful force. This is the tsunami warning. East coast of Kamchatka. Look at the building all busted to rubble. This place is got rocked. East coast of Kamchatka, that's Russia in the Kuril Islands. 62 centimeter high wave was recorded near the volcano of Kamchatka. Cracks appeared in the walls of buildings and houses. So something big happened, and we're in war with Russia. We didn't vote to go to war with Russia, but we're like stuck in it with Ukraine. It was the U.S. that overthrew Yanukovych, put Zelensky in, has been looting American treasure year after year after year after year, while hundreds of thousands of bodies are piling up. It's gross. Man, it needs to stop. Magnitude 7.8 earthquake from Apple News here saying tsunami advisory issued, then canceled. So Putin was warned to pull out of Ukraine. Now you see pull out. Buildings are falling. Okay. That's some thoughts there. 2.3 magnitude earthquake in Hawaii. Maybe that was the burst. Konstantin Kissin says, in 2018, when I turned down a safe space contract to perform at a university, people kept saying to me, it's no big deal. It's just some woke students. And I kept saying, very soon, these people will be running our country, our media, and our schools. Elon says, not for much longer. Oh, let's go. Pierce Morgan said, Jimmy Kimmel lied about Charlie Kirk's assassin being MAGA. This caused understandable outrage all over America, and it prompted TV station owners to say they wouldn't air him. Now he's been suspended by his employers. Why is he being heralded as some kind of free speech martyr? He's a fucking liar. I'm going to play this again because this is such a good bit. Oh, hold on. Wait. It went to a new screen. This is so worth watching. Less than a minute. Learn this routine. This is wild. It's
Charlie Kirk, that was crazy. Sad, not cool, not cool. I saw that on a Wednesday. I was like, holy shit, I got to process all this. Then I went to bed. I woke up the next day. I'm like, all right, I can feel a little better today on 9/11. It's pretty wild. We got to stop calling everybody Nazis. Like Sydney Sweeney got called a Nazi a couple weeks ago. Sydney Sweeney, a Nazi for wearing jeans and stuff. I call her Titler. Yeah. You know what we got to do? We should vote on who to shoot. We can't stop shooting people. These all come together and be like, all right, let's shoot the baseball Karen lady. How about that, huh? There we go. That's how we bring the country back together. But again, really sad.
Anyway, the point that I didn't finish my point from earlier. Yeah, it takes me a long time to finish stories sometimes. The thing that Karen stole from that father who gave the home run ball to his son, creating that moment, she took a baseball, fine, whatever. But like the worst thing she took was that moment of pure joy, that embrace. That father was enjoying that moment with his son so much, and she stole that moment from him. So no, people, this is clearly a joke, and it's not ill-mannered. It's just to say that lady sucks because she acted like a sucky human, not a literal call to violence, you goofballs. But that's a funny skit. That guy's name is Mark Normand, one of the best comics out there. Make sure you're following him. This lady's kind of summing up how we're all feeling.
There will come a day in the not-so-distant future where MAGA Republicans or former MAGA Republicans will not be able to live in peace in this country anymore. Not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but I know for certain that you're either going to have to leave this country or completely hide any evidence that you ever supported Donald Trump in order to just walk out of your house. Even in the most rural conservative areas of this country, prior to January 2025, you couldn't walk out of your house and fly a schmotzy flag around and be vocally proud about the fact that you're a white supremacist. Half the town might agree with you, but there would be consequences for that. There'll be a day very soon where those consequences are not only going to be reinstated in society, but it's also going to be impossible for you to do anything in peace. If you choose to live out and proud about the fact that you supported Donald Trump during this time, your life's going to be miserable. Unless you sequester yourself to your small, little, rural East Texas town and never leave.
And that's a weird spot for our society to be in. I don't know if she's saying that as a threat or just saying it's gotten so bad it's going to be like this. They're framing it. A liberal woman says Trump supporters will soon feel unsafe in America. I didn't take that as a threat. I thought she was more or less saying like it's gotten so bad, like it's going to get to this point. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. What is this? Meet Fadia Kader. Mostly Peaceful Memes is saying they're an executive with Netflix who was openly mocking Charlie Kirk's murder and Christian faith, saying he died for Christ. Are y'all okay? Oh, really hilarious. When did people start worshiping this cesspool of a human being? Not even human, and that's respect on the dead. When you speak and live in violence and promote it. Where did he promote violence? That's not a thing. Don't be surprised when death comes knocking in the way you spoke on it. Like, what is she even talking about? I'm disgusted you're posting tributes, and I've unfollowed a bunch of folks who had no idea we're on this wave. So if that's a real person from Middle Tennessee State, man, Middle Tennessee State keeps coming up for me. But yeah, Netflix does the deal with Barack Obama. So here's what Rainn Wilson saw from The Office about Charlie Kirk.
Country is being torn apart in so many different ways. While I didn't agree with his ideas, shooting someone that we disagree with, even if they're vociferous and loud and out there, is so colossally wrong-headed. I spoke to a couple of let's say some liberal friends.
Liberal. Swipe left, swipe left. Liberal. That's the Alex Jones. Liberal. La, 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 la. Celebrate Charlie Kirk. Liberal. La, 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 la. You've seen that Alex Jones video where he's saying liberal. Ha 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 ha. That was me saying that the liberals are celebrating the untimely death of Charlie Kirk, of course.
Last night at an event, and they were like, "You won't find me shedding any tears," and Someone else was like, oh, well, there was a little bit of a kind of a good riddance thing. And it's like, guys, no.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know.
We cannot think or talk that way.
Not at all.
That is not
It's
okay.
so dangerous, man.
Country.
Yeah, but Mark Ruffalo's been he's been past it. Okay, here's Aaliyah Scootercaster, who I've met out in the streets. We said the left is begging, they're pleading, they're instigating, they're pushing, and they want to take chess pieces off the board. Watch this in New York City.
Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Racist bastard! Racist bastard! Piss on your ashes!
What was racist? Point to the quote.
Piss on your ashes! Spit on your grave! Spit on your grave! I'll never be a slave! 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 I'll never be a slave!
Is this guy trying to say that Charlie Kirk wanted black people to be slaves? What the fuck is this dude even talking about?
I'll never be a slave! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Racist bastard! Racist bastard! Piss on your ashes! Piss on your ashes! Piss on your ashes! Piss on your ashes! Spit on your grave! Spit on your grave! I'll never be a slave! I'll never be a slave! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Racist bastard! Racist bastard! Piss on your ashes! Piss on your ashes! Spit on your... Fuck.
People out there trying to have dinner. That's New York City. Harrison Smith says, I don't know who needs to hear this again, but the person who blamed Charlie Kirk's murder on Israel was Charlie Kirk. Harrison H. Smith says, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. So what happens next? Isn't this a line in the sand? Jake Shields is saying acoustic reports show that the shooting was 70 feet away, not 250 yards. 70 feet, not 250 yards. Maybe it was that guy from that slow motion. And why are they framing this other guy then? Did they have somebody do it and then they framed a guy that looks like it, or they paid him, or like, I don't even fully understand. Health Ranger says, remember, this calculation requires an assumption about muzzle velocity, which is a total guess at the moment since we don't have the recovered bullet and therefore don't know for certain what caliber it was. And even then, you don't know how much powder was behind it. For example, a 168 grain bullet can be fired with both a 308 Win cartridge for a 300 Win mag cartridge with completely different MV. Okay, that's good context. We said others reported a close shot. Sadly, once again, the official narrative doesn't make sense. Jill Savage said an unindicted co-conspirator of the 93 World Trade Center bombing was the officiant of the Corey Mills wedding in March. Wedding certificate, Jill Savage, host of Blaze News. I'm not familiar with her. Jake Shields says, I don't know who killed Charlie Kirk, but the official narrative is filled with holes. I haven't seen evidence that Israel killed Charlie, but they specialize in assassinations around the world. We don't want to blame everything on the Jews, but they should automatically be suspects. So do you agree or disagree with that? I've told you before, it's the, I'm going to play it. I've brought it up before, but I've never played it for you. It's actually kind of hard to find here. Give me 1 second here. I am on air. I got to play one thing real quick. Because you were going to comment. Here, let me press play. Watch this epic video right here. This is Jenna Marbles doing the Thanks Obama skit. And it's super important. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? I got to close a window. There it is. Whoops. Here it is. Share this tab instead. Jenna Marbles skit about Thanks Obama. You could just replace it and say Thanks the Jews. You know why? Because everything is blamed on Obama in this skit, and that's what's happening today Everything's being blamed on this other group. Fun times. Enjoy. This is hilarious.
Ever since Obama has been reelected president, this whole country has gone to shit. Let me show you what I mean and how bad it is. This perfume smells like dick. Thanks, Obama. My dog took a giant shit on the carpet. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. There's too much trash here, and I only have 2 hands. Thanks, Obama. Just got my period again. Thanks, Obama. This book sucks. Thanks, Obama. This porno isn't even any good. Thanks, Obama. SPF 30? That's racist. I need at least SPF 50. Thanks, Obama. What the fuck is in my sink? Thanks, Obama. No Patriots in the Super Bowl. Thanks, Obama. Time travel. Still not an option. Thanks, Obama. This sandwich tastes exactly the same as the inside of my asshole. Thanks, Obama. It's almost Valentine's Day. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. Nobody even liked my Facebook status. Thanks, Obama. Condom broke again. Thanks, Obama. My kid punched another kid in the face at school today. Thanks, Obama. You know what? I'm probably gonna die someday. Thanks, Obama. Hunger Games? More like thanks, Obama. My boyfriend keeps trying to put his dick in my butt. Thanks, Obama. Rap music. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. Justin Bieber still not following me on Twitter. Thanks, Obama. God, my arms are so sore. Thanks, Michelle Obama. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama.
This message was brought to you by the Teletubbies.
Whoa. Yes, this video was inspired by the Thanks, Obama gifs because they're fucking hilarious. So everyone can just calm down because it's a joke. Probably say make sure you subscribe to our channel. We put out reviews every Wednesday. Well, we make new videos every Wednesday. We put them out as soon as we can. I'm such a failure. My dog's penis looks like a girl's vagina. Thanks, Obama. We're trotting through the forest. We're so excited. What the fuck am I doing? Okay. Bye.
I love everything about that skit.
Thanks, Obama. I did not want that to happen to me.
Thank you. First of all, oh man, Jenna Marbles. Thanks, Obama. But that commenter was like, you know, you got to blame the Jews, or you. No. I think that commenter. Let me go back. Let me not say that so casually. What he said was, what this Jake Shields guy said, I don't know who killed Charlie Kirk, but the official narrative is filled with holes. Okay, on that I agree. Bigger screen. Haven't seen evidence that Israel killed Charlie, but they specialize in assassinations around the world. Okay, that's not disputed. We don't want to blame everything on the Jews, but they should automatically be suspects because, you know, any government that has a track record, you know, everybody should be suspects. It's just this particular nation keeps coming up aggressively over and over again. But just that thought gives off similar, thanks, Obama. You saw it. My dog crapped on the floor again. Thanks, Obama. It's beautiful because you just replace it. It's like, oh, my dog crapped on the floor. Thanks, Jews. Now, I'm somebody who pins a lot of fault at Obama's feet. So there's that. But that aside, it does have the same vibes. But yeah, there's a lot of accusations going around right now. And for Candace Owens' sake, we'll see. I got a few other stories here, but you can check those out on our X feed. I have another show to get ready for in about an hour. Strictly Football coming up at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. She would be a fun date. She seems super cool, super funny. Haven't met her yet. All right, so please hit like, please hit subscribe. Tip jar is scrolling at the bottom of the screen if anyone feels so inclined to make my weekend extra nice. And we will be back. Ooh, what day is today? We will be back. No show tomorrow. We will be back maybe Sunday for a live stream for football. Maybe a live stream for football on Sunday. Maybe. Definitely Monday at noon, okay? definitely Monday at noon is the game plan. Next show. In the meantime, please continue tossing pennies in the wishing well. Let me click on the link to see where we're at, how many public watch hours away we are from opening up advertising. We are 854. I mean, we're chugging along. Let's just keep it up. Try to watch a few extra videos on the TNAM YouTube channel, please. And it's really, I mean, we're cranking through right now. We are motoring. So let's keep that momentum. Let's unlock the advertisements, and you know, that's a tip in and of itself. So this is Friday, so make it the best day of the week and make it the best day you've had in a while. You know what that means. Touch grass, get sun, meet people, talk, have conversations, go out, like live your life a little bit, sing some music, view some music at a concert, go play sports, go hiking, go out on the water, just do something. Break up your routine and explore the universe that this video game gave us. You press X and you talk to the thought bubble over someone's head. You press X and you engage in a conversation. Do that this week, okay? Marion says, thanks for the show, Brian. Bye, friends. I appreciate that we're all friends. I commented on Danette saying that yesterday, and it does. It feels like we are all friends, and we're dumping it out. We're having fun with it. We're, you know, we can't cover every story because, my God, in 4-hour shows, I feel like I'm just getting around to wrapping things up. There's so much to talk about. But signing out for everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.